everybody, welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name's Nicole and this is Dusty Book Sniffers, and we're here for the start of NetGalley November, so let's get into it. Well, good morning or good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me while I prattle on about the books that I have got to read on my NetGalley shelf. So as you heard in the intro, this is November. We're at November, and it means that we've started NetGalley November. At the time of recording this, we are currently on the 4th day here in Australia for it, and we have had sprints going around the clock since we started. So that's super exciting, and we are actually getting a lot of stuff read. Now, because I was so busy with the kickoff sprints and all the things, I actually forgot to record some stuff, which was my first throw of the dice, which I will get out of the kickoff sprints because I rolled on screen for that one, and then I promptly rolled for the second one and forgot to record it then, so you're probably going to get a bit of that throughout, but just trust me, I've rolled the dice and I've picked the book. I have a bingo board, as you can see here, that is all filled in with all of my titles. I have 23 audiobooks on my NetGalley shelf currently, and so I'm going to endeavour to get through those. Now, if you're wondering what NetGalley November is, by all means go and check out the announcement video. It is down underneath this video. And of course, all the co-hosts are also listed up down underneath this video as well. Go check them out, subscribe to them, and then that way you're not going to miss out on any sprints or anything like that. And also anything else that you might need, the Discord and all that sort of stuff will be underneath. I also have a TBR. So if you want to have a closer look at the books and the covers and everything like that, I'll link that up here for you. You can go and check that out, and then that way you know exactly what book I'm talking about and all the things. Now, I am super behind on my NetGalley, and basically, so I'm using this month to really get through my 2024 catalogue that I have on my shelf. So a lot of these books that I'm going to be talking about are either just coming out or are already out, and majority of them are already out. So they're no longer arcs or new releases in some cases, but for the most part, they are already out, and you'll be able to go and get them if they sound like that it's something that you're interested in. Now, since we started NetGalley, I had already NetGalley November. I'd already started a few books at the end of last month, so I have wrapped them up and got them off. And at the time of filming this, I have now finished 11 books that were sitting on my shelf that hadn't been reviewed, but some of them had been read. A lot of them were craft books and whatnot, and I will go into a little bit further detail of those in just a moment. All right, so the first one that I rolled for, and let me just bring up my little bingo board here. Where is that? I think it is in here. I have it somewhere. Okay, so as I said, I did actually roll while I was live streaming, and so the first book that I was reading was In Every Life by Rafe Ray, and this is an author that I have actually read before, and I absolutely really loved her first book. It was such a great concept. It was very much a sliding doors moment, and I was hoping to get some of the same from this book as well, and I did. So we were following Harper. Let me just double check that. Let me just get into NetGalley and go to it. I'm pretty sure her name was Harper. Like when you start reading a lot of books and you read them back to back, you tend to get a little, yes, it is Harper. Yay. So you get a little bit confused and all that sort of stuff. So this one actually came out on the 6th of August. And basically we're following the life of Harper, and she is living a life that she never expected. She failed an attempt to be an artist in her early 20s, and she had a bit of a hot and heavy relationship with someone, and she left that as well. And this was like 10 years earlier, but the book actually opens up with a situation where they've just her and her husband Ben are just newly married. They're away on their honeymoon, and basically he starts to feel very ill and all that sort of stuff, and basically is taken to hospital, and he is diagnosed with late stage pancreatic cancer. So there is a lot of cancer talk in this. So if you're triggered by that, this is probably not the book for you. And basically that they are, rightly so, they are devastated. Now, this couple were very active, and they used to do all the things, and they met like while they were doing a marathon of some sort. And so they basically you know, in a short time, basically everything fell apart for them. So now it fast forwards a little bit, and we know that, you know, he has been diagnosed, he's very ill, and the news is not good. So Ben decides that he's got this harebrained scheme that he is actually going to find Harper a new love, and while he's still on the planet. And so the story flows on from there. But we do have a little bit of a like magical realism where she gets transported, like she's moved in time, and it's a what if moment because there's something that happens in the book, and I don't want to give it away, but I sort of have to so you understand the concept. So I'm going to say spoiler here. So basically, what happened is Ben wanted to find her a new love, and he was talking to a gentleman that wanted to interview him. And it turns out that Harper actually knows this guy. And it all sort of happened after she said, you know, like, I don't want to have anything to do with this idea. I don't like this idea. And she was quite upset by it. But he turns up, and she's quite shocked because she knows the reporter and all the things. And then the story sort of flows from there. And it's a very much a book that is a what if. What if I had have done this differently? What if I had have, you know, remained with this guy, and what would happen, and what would my life actually look like? And there is a bit of that happening. And there, as I said, there's a little bit of magical realism because she actually does this, like, cast a spell to do this. And you know, it's the old adage, be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. And so this was a really fun time. So we've started out with the real, you know, heartfelt moment. Then we've gone into this moment where she's cast a spell, woke up the next day, and she's back back with the guy that she met 10 years ago. And yeah, and it all flows from there. And then she starts to realize that, you know, sometimes you don't want the things that you think you want. It's not always greener on the other side and all that sort of stuff. But there's no violence or anything like that. It was just that she wasn't ready for that move and all that sort of thing. So it was different. Like, I really enjoyed it. I had a great time reading it. I actually didn't want to put it down because I wanted to know what happened. And as I said, it was, you know, very I love the author's writing style and all that sort of stuff. And subsequently, I've actually given this a 4-star. So that was the first one that I done. And then I rolled the dice again, which I forgot to film that. And I pulled up Wish by Sarah Reedy. Again, this is a magical realism one as well. This is revolving around a wish as well, and a necklace that grants these wishes. And so we have Anna and we have Max. And this is the 4th book in the Ghosted series. And so this is all these books have been on the Read It Now and Listen Now. And I actually had both because I got the Read It Now first, and then I realized a couple of weeks later that the audio was on there. So I got both of them, and I sat down and I had a bit of a fun time, you know, just reading along and listening to it. And I've sort of been waiting for Max's story to come. We thought and knew that was going to be where we were going to head. These books they are interconnected standalones because there are names mentioned from the previous books, but you don't necessarily have had to read the previous books to understand what's going on in them. So we have Anna, who is a cleaner, and she cleans for Max, who is quite a wealthy jewelry maker, and he has inherited his family's business and all that sort of stuff. And he does not know that exists. Maybe he does. We don't know. Like, you don't sort of know. And basically, the book opens up with his wife turning up, who happens to be Anna. And so it's quite it's quite a funny little bit of a story. They are both very much aware of their previous life and the wish in this one. So it was quite interesting because they knew of their previous life, and then she made a wish because she was so in love with Max and that she wanted to be married to him. But again, it's careful what you wish for, you know, like what you actually want in a wish and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, the story just flows from there. They're great fun time reads. They're quick reads. Again, I've got this one at 4 stars. I've given all the books the series 4 stars. I also love the Sarah Reedy as I said, those books are just a good fun time read. So in between reading all those books and everything, I have been doing some of the craft books because, you know, I'm listening to the audio. Then I want to sit down and, you know, read the arcs that I have for craft books and all that sort of stuff. So I did a little bit of that as well, interspersed. And some of these I started at the end of October, but I finished them and I've now reviewed them. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Taylor Swift, unofficial Taylor Swift crochet book. This one was in the Get It Now, so I Read It Now section of NetGalley. So I was pretty happy to see this there. And I'm just starting my crochet journey. So it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to incorporate some of these patterns and whatnot. Now, not everything was great in the book, but there were, for the most part, there was a couple of things that caught my eye that I'd like to try. And it's basically just channeling the spirit of Taylor Swift and all that sort of stuff. So this would be a perfect gift for someone who is right into Taylor Swift and right into crocheting. So keep an eye out down below. I'll drop some links where you can get these books from and all that sort of stuff, especially if they're already out. So go and check them out. They will be possibly affiliate links and whatnot. So, that helps support the channel if you click and purchase on those. You don't pay any more. I just get a small commission from that. All right. So make sure you check out all those things down below. Now, I gave this about a 3.5, 4-star rating. I mean, it wasn't my cup of tea, but someone who was into Taylor Swift would definitely love it and appreciate it, who likes to crochet. But as I said, there are a couple of things that caught my eye, so I was pretty happy with that. The next one is, there's a set of 2 books coming out on the 5th of November. They'll be out by the time you see this video. The links will be linked up down below for you to go and check out. These are, again, crochet books. These are essential stitches and then an upscale one. So we start out with a beginner sort of essential stitches, and it goes through all the the tools that you need and all that sort of stuff. So it presumes that you are starting out in crochet and you don't know anything about the craft. So you've got all that information in there. Now, if you're an advanced crochet and you just like some of the stitches, you could very well use this book as well. You skip all those pages and just go straight to the stitches. So it gives you a little swatch that you can do that shows you how to do the stitches and whatnot. It's got instructions for it, and then it's got a whole heap of edging and all that sort of stuff, so you can finish off those projects and make them look a little bit more polished. I really liked the layout of this book, the simplicity of it, but at the same time it was quite vibrant. It's colorful. The pictures are very clear and all of those things, and you can see the cover here. The pictures are really clear. I absolutely love it. So you can check that out by clicking on the link down below. Again, this will be an affiliate link, and I'm really looking forward to when I finish my first project. If I want to edge it, I've got these stitches now that I can use to edge it. Now, on the same day, we also have the next book coming out by the same author, but this one is like stepping up your skills a little bit more. Now, I'm going to actually keep an eye on this author because they may end up actually bringing out more, because there are a myriad of crochet stitches out there and a myriad of ways to finish things. And again, it's beautifully laid out. It also tells you all about, how to finish off your projects and all that sort of stuff as well. I've given both of these books 5 stars and I highly recommend them, because even if you're a beginner to an advanced and you just want, or you're a beginner, but you want to upskill with your stitches and all that sort of stuff, the second book is definitely for you, but both of them would also definitely be for you as well. And even if you're a seasoned crocheter, you'd actually be able to get something out of this as well. All right, now let me just refer to my list. What else do I have on here? Okay, so they were the crochet ones. The next one that I'm going to talk about. Now, I don't remember requesting this one, and I have a feeling that the publisher may have put this on my shelf. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, it's called Cookie Swap. And basically, it is essentially what it's telling you. It is a cookbook chock full of all different sorts of cookies, everything from just the regular drop cookies right through to your bars, and a few little extras in there as well. It's got some tips and tricks. The recipes are laid out really well, and it also is leaning in to talk about the idea of cookie swapping, so making cookies and swapping them with people and all that sort of stuff. So these recipes actually do haul quite a lot when you make them. They'd be perfect like if you weren't doing a cookie swap, which it's not something that I would do, and I don't even really know of anybody that does it here, but these would be really good for school baking or things like that. Now, let me just bring it up because I'm not entirely sure when this one, I can't remember whether this one is actually out or not. Both Wished and In the Life are actually out. The Cookie Swap came out on the 8th of October. So it's a little over a month it's been out. And so, yeah, so it, as I said, it's a great resource to have with all the myriad of cookies you could think of in there. Really great if you're trying to save some money on and not buy store-bought stuff, which I'm a big advocate of that, of making the stuff yourself, because you know exactly what's going into your recipes and all that sort of stuff. So that is what the cover looks like. It's very vibrant. It's got beautiful pictures. It's beautifully laid out. It has all the things that you would want, even if you are a beginner at making cookies. I am not a great cookie maker. I do cakes and slices I'm really good at. My husband is really good at biscuits or cookies, as a lot of people call them. And he often makes the cookies in the house and then we just freeze them. But so this is going to be a great resource for him as well. So that's really exciting that we now have that. And I'm actually considering buying this book for both my daughters to have in their kitchen library. So yeah, so that is one of the cookbooks that I have done I started that last month because I was curious about it, and I had a little bit of trouble with the formatting and all the rest of it, but it ended up opening up okay in the end. The other one that I have looked at as well is called Blueprint Quilting. Now, this book is absolutely stunning. It has so many ideas in it. It gives you all the bits and pieces that you would need, even if you were a beginner quilter. I am a quilter, as you can see behind me. I do lots of little different things, from basic to more complicated stuff. This has all the things that you could possibly need in there. So go and check that out. And basically, you'll have a really good understanding of what you need to do and everything like that. And it also is very inspirational for anybody that has been in the quilting world for quite some time. I highly recommend it. The colours are beautiful. The fabrics are beautiful. It is very much a quilt book that you just want to sit there and absorb everything from it. I've actually given this 5 stars. The layout is absolutely stunning, and it's really easy to navigate as well, as are all the books that I've talked about today, especially with the craft and the cooking and all that sort of stuff. They've all been beautifully laid out. In the past, I've had a couple of books that were just very basic, like they were no fuss, no pictures, and I don't like those sort of books in craft or in cookbooks. So I always look for books that have a lot of really nice pictures and stuff like that, because it makes it pleasing to sit down with a cuppa and have a bit of a flick through and get inspired by that. So that is the quilting book that I have done. And that is just about all. Oh, and I finished one book, sorry. This is not a holiday romance. I finished that at just before November started. This is what it's called. And basically it is if I remember correctly, it's a forced proximity one. Let me just bring it up. It's by Camilla Isley, and this one came out at the beginning of September. Yes, and this one is a forced proximity. So basically, we've got 2 enemies to lovers type thing. So we have Nina Thompson and her brother's best friend, which I cannot think of his name. Tristan. Basically, they are sworn enemies. They've known each other for a very long time, because Tristan is her brother's best friend, and basically they are forced together and they've played pranks and quite some nasty pranks in some cases on each other over the course of time. It's just a fun, sweet holiday romance, even though it's not a holiday romance, as it says on the title, but it is set around Christmas, so it'd be something that you can read. It was, it's a typical enemies to lovers, all that sort of stuff, and forced proximity. I enjoyed my time reading this. There was a couple of laugh out loud moments and whatnot. But for me, it was just a popcorn read, nice, quick read. And I absolutely enjoyed my time with the characters and all that sort of stuff. But, like most enemies to lovers, if you know the trope, you know what's going to play out with that. So, yeah, I've actually given this a 3.75 star rating. Not quite a 4, not quite a 3, not an average book, a little bit above average. But as I said, if you've read, forced proximity and enemies to lovers tropes before, you know what to expect when going into this book. So yeah, so they are the books that I have read so far, and I spun up again on Sprint and pulled up The Deepest Lake audiobook off my bingo board, and so you can see here that is what it looks like at the moment. I'm adding the covers as I read them. Now this one is a psychological thriller, missing person thriller as well. So we have Jess and Rose are the main characters in it, and Eva. Eva is a writer, and she runs writing workshops in Guatemala. And basically we have Jess, who is missing, and we have Rose, who is her mother, and she is looking for her. So we start out learning about Jess and Rose and also Eva at the same time. We know that Jess has gone to Guatemala to be at this writing retreat, and subsequently she is employed by Eva to do the social media side of things and all that sort of stuff. And there's a little bit of talk of depression and stuff like that, but not a great deal. I think that could have probably been covered a little bit more. Let me just bring it up, and I'm not entirely sure when this one came out, so let me just find it. I have not done my write-up yet, but I'm going to talk about it. See if I can bring it up. Okay, so, and this is by Adromeda, which is quite a Adromeda. Ramona Lax is the author of this one. And yeah, so basically, excuse me, it is set at the shores of a lake at Atilan in Guatemala. And it's about a grieving mother who is investigating her daughter's mysterious death. Jules has basically gone to Guatemala. This it came out in May as well, so I'm obviously knocking off my ones from May. So her mother has signed up for this writing retreat in Guatemala with Eva in the hopes of finding out what happened to her daughter, because her daughter's just disappeared. There's been no contact, there's been nothing. And so we're going through the two timelines. So we're going in with Jules and we're finding out what happened to her along the way. And at the same time, we're also finding out through Rose's eyes of her things that she thinks happened, and so her trying to work it out. And basically, if you've read anything like this before, you know how the story is going to flow. This one is already out. You can get it on Kindle, although here in Australia it's like $28 for the Kindle. I don't think it's worth $28. This is just a fairly somewhat average book, I guess. I mean, I've read a lot of thrillers, so it just went through the flow. I did like the idea of the two timelines and getting to, because normally a lot of the thrillers that I have read, you've got someone trying to work out what's going on, but you don't get that dual timeline. So I really appreciated the dual timeline in this one. It was nicely done. I was a little bit confused in some, like who, if Eva and another character were one of the same, they are separate. I think I just missed the nuance in the story there for a moment, got distracted or whatever. They are two different people. So that confusion was quickly alleviated a little bit further down the book. But for a couple of chapters there, I'm like, is this the same person? And I didn't want to go back because I was right in the story. But yeah, it's just a typical thriller. I would probably rate this at a 3.75, not quite a 4. And I felt like it was sort of like I got to maybe 75% of the book where I thought, you know what, I think there's something going to happen here that is quite unexpected. And it sort of did happen. So, yeah, so basically just know going in, it does follow the normal formula and all the rest of it. None of that is a spoiler because I haven't given you what's happened or anything. But I do recommend it. I think if you like dual timelines and you like that searching for a loved one sort of storyline, there's a bit of a subplot happening in the storyline as well. And I'm like, whoa. So there was a bit of that moment. And that's why I've given it, it's a 3.75. It's not a 3.5 or a 3-star, definitely 3.75, not quite a 4. But as I said, I will link up all the links down below. I highly recommend you get it if you want to get it. I highly recommend you buy it in paperback because the Kindle version of it here in Australia anyway, it's like $28, and I'm not paying that for a Kindle book when I can get a physical book that I can hold and because I'm not a big e-book reader. I love sitting down with a book. I love the smell of books and stuff like that. So that is what I've read so far. And so I will be checking in again because I'm about to read College Jocks and Frat House Bros by, I cannot think of who that is by. Let me just bring it up. It is I've got it keyed up. This is already out as well, and I ended up finding it on Everend. This is by Mathew Cooper. And it is a gay smut college short story collection. So I'm reading this along with Koda, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We always have a good time when we're doing that. So I'm going to go and get stuck into that, and basically I will come back and check in once I've read a few more. As I said, this one is already out, and I haven't rolled for this one, even though it is on my bingo board. I'm just doing this one today because the simple fact is Koda is also reading it as well. All right, I'm going to head off and get stuck into that. And if you're looking for it, if you want to go and check it out, the title is what got me. Koda sent it through to me, and as a joke, I thought, I'll click on it. I am so not their target audience, but anyway, they approved it. So I had a bit of a chuckle about that. So now I've got to read it. So and the first story was quite good in it. I actually thought it was pretty good. I'll never look at grey tracksuit pants the same again. And there was a whole conversation on Spins about that. All right, I will check in when I am ready to talk about this one. I probably won't do a midpoint check-in because they're short stories. I'll just give you a general overview. And if you've been around before, you sort of know that I'm not a big short story fan. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. All right, I'm going to get out of here and I'll check in again when I'm finished it. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. All right, I'm here to do my check-in wrap-up for College Jocks and Frat House Bros by Mathew Cooper. Now, I don't think I mentioned this in the last clip. This came out in July of 2024. So it has been out for a bit, but I got this originally. I got this as a bit of a gag because Koda sent me through and said, hey, check out the title of this one, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if they'll approve me for it. And I clicked on it and they actually did, which I was really excited to be approved for. Now let me just see, I cannot think of the publisher for this, so I'm just going to check my notes and see if I wrote it down in that. I'm not too sure that I did. Let me just have a look here. No, I did not. This has been, as I said, this was come out in July of 2024, and it is a collection of short stories. I've actually given it 4 stars because overall the stories were really, really fast-paced. Yes, but they were good. I enjoyed them for the most part. I enjoyed them. There was a couple there that I just were like, really? I'm not really sure. Now, the overarching theme in this, that there was a lot of straight guys that were were curious, I guess, in a way is a way to put it. So there was a lot of experimentation and getting together and all that sort of stuff. Now, there is a disclaimer in the front of the book about the stories and all that sort of stuff, so be aware of that. And I'm sure that on the website, which I have not checked for this particular author, I have not checked to see if there is any trigger warnings or anything like that. So it is a graphic in nature. I've given it a 4 out of 5 chilies. If you've never read anything like this, it's probably a little bit higher on the chili scale. But I have actually been reading a lot of gay smart and just gay love stories in general in the last 12 months. So I've had a lot of fun with it. And of course, I'm reading them with my buddy Koda as well. Now, I am going to talk about one story that it was like I couldn't put my finger on what it reminded me of, but Koda actually said it seemed like a come on, it was a heart stopper moment, but it was it was. And then I pointed out some stuff to Koda as well, the fact that these two guys who, if memory serves me correctly, they were both straight and they were coming out to each other in a closet. So they were coming out of the closet to each other in a closet, and so both Koda and I aren't exactly sure, because overall the story was quite lame, in my opinion. Like it was very like just the dialogue was really average and all that sort of stuff. But when we discussed it, the irony in that alone, that I had said to Koda on Voxer, that is quite clever. So now we're in two minds about this story. So still the dialogue was not great. But yeah, so anyway, that was probably the only one that I really had a major problem with. There was a couple of repetitive words, like to the hilt. So this morning I have been opening up all my boxes with Koda to the hilt. So we've been having a fun time listening to this anyway, is what I'm trying to say. So if you're looking for, quick, spicy reads and all the rest of it, then this is probably going to be the book for you. If you're not into that, then obviously just disregard what I'm saying. But I'm having a fun time, and that's all that matters. I'm having fun time with my reading. Now, I did feel that some of the stories were a little bit rushed, as I often feel that way with short story collections and all the rest of it. I feel like some of the stories could have been flushed out a little bit more. A couple of the stories would probably actually make a really good, novel if the author so choose to expand on it a little bit more. So we, get a couple of good, storylines and stuff like that with a bit of humor and all that sort of thing as well. As I said, the overall spice level for this, I've put it at a 4 out of 5. And I've actually rated that quite, taking into consideration people that obviously don't read this sort of stuff or may read a little bit of smut, or maybe new to it. That's what I've rated it on. For me, I didn't find it like I've read a lot of dark romance and a lot of smutty books and all that sort of stuff. So I think that my smart meter might be a little bit broken. So I took a step back and I had a little bit of think about it, of the overall spice level of it. And I would definitely say that it is a 4 out of 5 chili. Now, this was put out by Riverdale Avenue Books and Mangus Lit. And they approved me for this arc. So I was pretty happy when it came through. It was a lot of fun to read it with my bestie Koda. All right. Let me have a look at what else I have read this week. And I'm going to have to refer to my notes. Now, I have done a lot of reading when it comes to cookbooks and stuff like that. So the next one that I'm going to talk about is making, no, that's not that one. Let me just have a look what I've got here. Okay, cut. All right, so I have been doing, after I finished doing that, I went into between like audiobooks and stuff like that. I'm going in and reading some of my short form novels and also my cookbooks and craft books and stuff that I have on there, which I have a lot on there. So I got stuck into those again, and I'm going to go through some of those. But first of all, I'm going to start with a graphic novel. Now, as this is the first week, this is all the things that I've done in the first week. And remembering when I said in my last clip that I had read some of these, I had started in late October. So I've just finished them in November, and that's why they're in this vlog. This, however, Jess from This Kiwi put me onto this. I was on Sprints and basically sent me a message and said, hey, have you seen this? You should go check it out. I did. It's a read it now. It's called Witchcraft, a graphic novel. It's by Lindsay Esquire. The publication date on this was the 15th of October this year, and it falls under the religion and spiritual side of NetGalley. So that's where you'll find it. So if you go into NetGalley and you're not sure how to navigate, if you're new, if you go down, find titles, go down and you'll see all the lists of all the different genres. Go to religion and spirituality, and then click on the read it now, and it should pop up for that category. Short of that, you might have to scroll through several pages of the Read It Now, because you can also find it that way as well. So this is a graphic novel. Now, most of you probably know that I'm not a huge graphic novel reader. It's not something that I gravitate to, and also I find them quite expensive for what they are. I know that they're a story. I know a lot of artwork's gone into it, but for some reason in my head, I find them to be expensive. And I mean, $32 and $35, I've seen some that have been like $50, and that is expensive for a book that you're not going to spend a lot of time in, and you may or may not read again. So I tend to go to Kindle Unlimited or Kindle or places like that, and now NetGalley. So that's why I am reviewing this. Now, if you've been around for a while, you also know that I love anything that has a witchy vibe to it or a witchy story, and this one does meet the criteria. Now, I did not write down what my star rating for this one is, so let me just get onto back onto my NetGalley shelf. So do bear with me for just one moment, and let me find that. I will just search that up because I've already given my feedback for it. And of course, you can go and see any of the feedbacks that I've done. If you're on NetGalley, you can go and have a look at these, and you can see them also on my Goodreads as well. So go and check them out. Let me just Witchcraft, a graphic history. But you can see from the cover here, it is such a lovely cover. Like, I was drawn to that, and Jess did point that out to me and said, you know, I think you'll love this, and all the things. Now, this one is due to, this, as I said, came out on the 15th of October, and it's archiving in a couple of days. So you've got about 24 hours to get this. It may have already archived by the time you have seen this, so I do apologize if that is the case. Other than that, there will be a link down underneath the video where you can go and check out the books and the synopsises and all that sort of stuff and whatnot. So basically, as I said, I was given this tip from, sorry, I've got the camera in front of me, in front of my computer. So yeah, so this was recommended to me by Jess, and I had to have it. As soon as I seen the cover, I just had to go and get it. So I went and got it, and yeah, of course, this pulled my score down again. But it is actually centering around the story of an Irish witch called Didi. Early, and she lived from the 1798 to 1874, and is one of the earliest witches to be down in recorded history. Now, and she was also a witch that escaped the burning times as well. She was brought to trial, and she was and she did not burn at the stake, and she was not put in prison. She actually got to live a long and somewhat healthy life, and you know, doing what she loved best. Now, what I really liked about this book as well is that Lucy Squire has an introduction in the book that tells you what parts are fictional and what parts are based on history and whatnot. So make sure that you read that, because it gives you a good scope of what's going on in the book. Now, what I actually, as I said, what I loved about that is that part as well, but the themes that were explored in this, so self-empowerment, overcoming stigma, there was some plant magic and green wisdom in that as well. Now, it goes through and explains all the different things, little different areas of witchcraft, such as hedge witch, kitchen witch, all that sort of stuff. It also touches on some of the goddesses as well, and it also touches on some of the plants and everything that are quite special to the witch in her life and whatnot. And just also talking about how caring for the environment, and just only taking what you need, you know, and just living within your means and all that sort of stuff. So there was all of that in there. All the while we were learning, the young girl was learning about witchcraft and the power of healing and looking after community and all that sort of stuff. So I would probably recommend this book to someone who is maybe a teenager that's maybe thinking about getting in to witchcraft, because this and exploring that theme a little bit more, because this, as I said, has little tidbits, and they're very concise and to the point. So there's not a lot of fluff in this book, which is absolutely fabulous. The artwork was absolutely stunning. And I really, really liked the artwork. It was quite appealing, and it was quite an easy read as well. I think it came in at 129 pages. Of course, it's a graphic novel, so that's not all words. So it's quite quick to read. Now, this one was put out by Leaping Hare, which is an imprint of Koda Publishing Group. And so thank you to them for putting that up on the Read It Now for a lot of us to experience. And as I said, I would recommend this to someone who's just starting out in their witchy journey, or even someone who wanted to you know, maybe gift it to a young teenager or whatever that is exploring this. At least they can get some a little bit of history and stuff like that. And being that an Irish witch that also escaped being persecuted and losing her life is also exciting as well. Now, I personally had not heard a lot about this witch before. I have heard the name, but I've never looked into Biddy early. So I'm going to actually do a little bit more research and see if I can't find some more information about this first witch that was put down in the history of witches. So yeah, so 4 stars I've given it. I highly recommend it. And if you get a chance to get it before it closes out on NetGalley, I encourage you to get over there and grab it. Okay, so the next book that I'm going to talk about is called The Happiest Hour. It is by Debbie Podlagar, I think is how you pronounce it. It comes out on November 5th. So by the time you've seen this video, it's probably already out. So I am just bringing up my rating and all the things for it. Now, what got me in the synopsis? Motherhood and mocktails, a new era of fun and fabulous sober drinking. So yeah, that is the opening line from the synopsis. And I'm like, you know what? I need to read this. So I got it again. This was another read it now. These are great ways to boost up your score to get up to that ever elusive, for me, 80%. And I am slowly but surely creeping my way up there. The closest I've been is 69%. And then I've gone back down again. And currently I am sitting on 64%, which is great. So this is a wonderful book. It's beautifully laid out. It's got beautiful pictures throughout it of all the glassware and the drinks that they've made and all that sort of stuff. It gives you information of where to go and get your non-alcoholic components of, you know, the flavorings and stuff of the drink, and it gives you tips and tricks throughout the book as well. It gives you all the tools that you're going to need that are going to make it super easy for you. Again, this is by Koda Publishing and the imprint Rock Point, and I've got a couple of books from this particular imprint, and they're usually really well presented and flushed out and all that sort of stuff, really well edited. I didn't find any mistakes or typos or anything like that, or grammar mistakes or anything when I was reading it, so I was pretty happy about that. I could have missed it because it's not something that I look for, but overall it is easy to navigate. The pictures are absolutely stunning. The making it easy for you to get the tools and all the things that you're going to need is also on par with that. And as I said, I've given this a 5-star rating. And basically, another reason that I was drawn to this as well is because my daughter Savannah does not drink. And I thought it'd be a great way if she had a party or something like that, she can make some mocktails for herself and she can have that fancy drink while her friends are drinking and all the things. And sometimes, you know what? I just want a fancy drink without the buzz. I know, right? Who am I? But anyway, that is the book that I read. And I did actually start this I think it was the last day of October. So I was part the way through it and I got it finished this week. I've reviewed it on Goodreads, so you can go and check that out as well. And it's just, yeah, there were some really nice drinks in there. They just look so appealing. I'm like, I want to make these drinks. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to move on to my next one. Oh, did I say I gave it 5 stars? Because I think it deserves 5 stars. All right, we are moving on to the next book, which is called The Christmas Baking Cookbook. And this is been put out by the editors of Cider Mill Press. And this one I've actually given 4 stars. It is chock full of Christmas baking from around the world. The cover is absolutely stunning. That's what drew me to it in the first place. I'm like, I have to have this book. I need to see this book. I need to peruse through the pages. And I must say that I thought it was very, very well put together. There's a lot of recipes from around the world. You've got everything from biscuits right through to cakes and even all your little like rumballs and snowballs and all that sort of stuff. This came out on the 15th of October, just in time for everybody to start thinking about doing their baking and whatnot. And I'm super chuffed that I got that. Now, this is still available as a read it now. It is archiving on December 3rd. So if you want to check this out, go and have a look. There's some beautiful recipes in there, tons of them that I want to try. Of course, I probably won't have much time to do a lot of baking. And to be honest, we don't do a big Christmas or anything like that. So it might be that I'll just flick through this book again, find a couple of recipes and maybe just make those. I have been instructed to make a chocolate slice, so I'll be making some of that as well. As I said, I have given this one a 4-star rating. And I'm pretty sure it's 4-star. Did I write that down? Let me just have a look at I'm just got it up on here. I think I might have actually gave it a 5-star because I don't know. Yes, I did. Not 4-star, 5-star. And again, this comes in here at the in Australia. This is $39.78 on Amazon. So some of the other places would probably be a little bit more expensive. And yeah, so as I said, this was put together by the editors of Cider Mill Press. So they did a wonderful job, and I'm sure that everybody that goes and looks at this will absolutely fall in love with it. The photographs throughout it, the Christmassy spirit comes through off the pages. And honestly, I closed the book and I just wanted to reopen it again. Well, you know, turned off off the Kindle, reopen it again and start reading it again. So it might be one that will just get flicked through quite a bit. And I am seriously considering buying this for Savannah for Christmas. And there's over 100 recipes to choose from around the world. So that is quite a decent book. And I think it came in at 406 pages, if my members if I'm remembering correctly. Let me just bring that up and see if we've got that there. Sorry, 288 pages. I don't know what I was thinking about. A lot of recipes in there for you to take a look at. All right, the next craft book that I picked up was a felting one. Now, I am always on the hunt for craft books, like different things to try and start. I'm just bringing it up. Now, again, this is coming in at 5 stars because there's not really much that I can say that isn't wrong with this book. It is actually the complete starter guide to needle felting, and it's Enchanted Forest. Now, who doesn't love an Enchanted Forest? I mean, come on. And look how cute these little creatures are that are on the cover. Now, the cover on Goodreads is a little bit different. There's a circle down the bottom where you can see them actually making something, and that gives you an indication of what the pictures look like over, like in during the pages. Okay, so basically this is by Claudia Lenart, and it falls under craft and hobbies and all the things. And as I said, I gave this a 5-star review, and it comes in at 128 pages, and it is $29.99 Australian dollars to buy this one. That is the price that they actually have on this. It actually has it. Sometimes they don't have that on that, but as you can see from the picture, it is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely adore this book. And again, this was like the Christmas book. I turned the Kindle off to write down my notes and all the things, which you can see here. I've got all my chicken scratchings. Basically, I wanted to open it up again and re-examine all the pictures and all the rest of it. And to me, that is a good craft book. If it want, and same for a cookbook. If you want to reopen it again and you want to get stuck into it again and reread it, so like, and you've just essentially close the pages. So this has fairies, gnomes, unicorns, and other woodland creatures in it, little foxes, as you can see. It's got some mushrooms and all the things. There are some finger puppets in this that I so want to make. They are so adorable. There's like a little elves and stuff like that, and little fox and whatnot. And the way the book is set out, of course, like most things, it's assuming, and this is a starter guide, so it's assuming you know nothing about needle felting, and it's giving you all the things that you need, but it's not overwhelming with the information that you have. So that is also a really good thing. And then it also takes into consideration for the visual learners in the world, as well as people who can read something and just pick it up. So there are step-by-step guides showing you how they go through the process of making these 3D felted animals. And it's such a lovely way to lay out a book where you've got photographic steps or pictorials, as they call them. So if you are a visual learner and you're not quite sure what they're talking about, there's a picture to go with what they're talking about. So you can rest assured, if you do purchase it, that you won't be lost in all the information, and you won't be lost in the instructions either, because you have that visual representation of the step that they've just given you. So as I said, I've given this 5 out of 5, and I just want to buy this for all of my friends. So they've got something different to try. Like, I have had a go at needle felting, and it was quite funny because we did it on live stream on my craft channel. That video is no longer up because it had a friend in it that no longer wanted to be on the channel, and she asked if I could unlist it so people that saved it could still see it and all that sort of stuff. But we had such a fun time, and Savannah made what was supposed to be a llama, and it looked like it'd been hit by a truck. But we got these little kits, and we didn't have any real instructions or anything like that, and we got them off AliExpress because they were really cheap, and we wanted to try it, and I've always wanted to get back to it. So now that I've got this with instructions and the tools and all the things that I need for it, I feel like I could be able to do this again. So it might be something that I'll dive into as something to relax next year. So you'll probably end up seeing me talk about it over on my craft channel and all the rest of it. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to talk about is the Kitchen Witch Handbook, and this is by Aurora Kane. This one again has been given 5 stars, and it might seem like I'm handing out a lot of 5 stars and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not really, because what I look for in a cookbook, a craft book, a witchy book that is like a non-fiction reference book and all that sort of stuff, I want to know, is the information correct? So I'll sometimes do some cross, especially in witchy ones, because you don't want to give false information or anything like that, especially revolving around herbs and all that sort of stuff. Are there disclaimers in there if they're using herbs for pregnant women and people that have particular conditions? Because some herbs you can't eat if you've got heart conditions. If you're pregnant, you should stay away from herbs altogether, because there's not enough information out there to know the effects on the baby and also the pregnant mum as well. So, and some things, you know, when you're pregnant, if you can end up having allergic reactions to things that you may not have been allergic to before. So when I am looking at a cookbook, I want to know, is it concise? Are the measurements seem right? Is the recipe flowing correctly through the you know, I'm a cook, so I know how it should go together because it's like a little bit of science, you know, so I want to make sure that, and does it have some pictures? So that's what I sort of look at, you know, overall on a book, and what type of book it is. So like the Christmas baking one, it has a lot of pictures because people want to see that Christmas visual and know what it looks like and all that sort of stuff. But then again, you might have a bread book that I am going to talk about in a little bit, and it might have just some line sketches in it, because that's okay, because a loaf of bread is a loaf of bread, what it looks like and all that sort of stuff. I also look for things that might have ingredients and stuff like that. And when it comes to the witchy ones, I want to know that the information is correct that we're being given, so I check for that. Again, I want to have, you know, some sort of visual reference and all that sort of stuff, and that's what I look for. So this one I have given 5 stars because it ticked all those boxes. There was visual references in there. The information was correct, that all the stuff that I checked and whatnot. And there was little watercolors through it. The artwork was absolutely stunning in this one, and it touched on a lot of different things. So it gave you an explanation of what the different witches are, so hedge witch, all that sort of stuff. But this was actually talking about being a kitchen witch, and what the title is saying there is that you practice your magic and your rituals and all that sort of stuff centered around the kitchen. So your altar will be in there and all that sort of stuff, and it discusses all of this in there. And then we've got these little watercolor pictures of the different herbs and stuff like that, so it makes it really easy to navigate, makes it easy to find what you're looking for. The index was well structured as well, and that's why I have given it 5 stars. So if you are into this sort of stuff, I highly recommend this to you. I think you will thoroughly enjoy it. As I said, I did fact check it and stuff like that, but for the most part, you know, when someone's putting out, you know, a handbook, wisdoms, recipes, potions, and everyday magic at home, they're going to have done their research and all the things. And there's there's a lot of different things in there. There's some potion making and all that sort of stuff, and you've got recipes across the board as well. So it's really, really, really well flushed out, in my opinion. So that's why it's got 5 stars. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to talk about, and this one has already come out as well. This came out on the 4th of November. I was a little bit late in getting this out. And this is called The Hungry Ghost, a bread book. Now, this is an offbeat bakery's guide to crafting sourdough loaves, flatbreads, crackers, scones, and more. And it is by Jonathan Stevens. Now, this book is so well flushed out. We cover a lot of information in this book without it being overwhelming. We basically have, you know, Jonathan talking about essentially his passion, okay? His passion really comes out in these pages where he's talking about bread and the different things that you can use. And what I liked about this one is the fact that it actually used different flours. A lot of time you get a bread book and it'll have, you know, your basic. This one has a lot in it. And I really, really, really enjoy it. Now, I think I just said that this come out on the 4th of November. It actually comes out on the 14th of November. So it will be available from then. It archived on the 4th of November. So sorry about that little slip up there. Now, some interesting tidbits too. I like to read the author's note as well to find out why they wrote this book and what they were trying to achieve and all that sort of stuff. And basically, it comes down to that that Jonathan just wanted to share his love of baking and working with breads and all that sort of stuff. And so also we have the other side of it. He is a very creative person anyway. He cycles, he plays musical instruments, he's a writer, and he's also a poet as well. So given that he is all of those things, it really does come out on the paper that he is so enthusiastic about bread and all the rest of it. And this one I absolutely love. I want to actually buy this one for Savannah. And there's another bread one that I haven't yet finished that I'm thinking about finishing off today. And that's around a bread machine. But Savannah has been making some artisan breads and stuff like that, and she wants to, you know, to get better at it. So I think that this would be a perfect Christmas present for her. Now, Jonathan Stevens is actually the co-founder of the Hungry Ghost bread, and I believe it's in Northampton is where they hail from. So yeah, and there's all the step-by-steps, and there's even like little bits and pieces about you know, the proofing and what you need to be successful and all of those sort of things. So if you're into that sort of stuff, I would go and check that out for sure. So yeah, I definitely will be putting this on my bookshelf as well. Like I probably should stop reviewing cookbooks because I'm going to end up needing a library just for cookbooks. But I am being very, very selective and whatnot. So a 5-star rating from me on this one as well. So as I said, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. I'm sure that you're going to thoroughly enjoy it, and it'll be a fantastic resource for many, many years to come. I mean, bread making has been around for 10,000 years, maybe even longer. So yeah, so go and check it out. I think that you'll thoroughly enjoy it. And as I said, all the links are up down below, and you can go and check out those a little bit closer. But that is it for this week. I have done a few other ones, but I haven't reviewed them yet, so I don't have my notes here. So they will appear in next week's vlog. But I've had a really good week this week. I'm so glad that I've got all this reading done and I'm making a dent on my NetGalley. At least my backlisted stuff I'm making a dent on. I am adding 2025 books at the moment, and I've been getting a lot of recommendations and all the things. Oh, there was actually one other book that I forgot about. It was a detour. Actually, I haven't reviewed it. It'll be in next week's vlog. I'll talk about it then. But yeah, so I'm really happy with all the things that have been going on with NetGalley. It's been a fantastic week so far. Thoroughly enjoying myself. The feedback on the 24-30 sprints, so that's 24 hours a day for 30 days for the entire month of November, has been really good. We're really happy with the feedback we're getting and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, and I just like to say thank you to everybody that is participating, whether it be someone that is just in sprints, and to all my co-hosts who are making this possible for everybody as well. But as I said, they are the books that I have read this week. It's been a huge week already. I'm going to jump off now and get into finishing off some books that I have just started yesterday, and I need to get that finished. And I think I'm on track for 30 and 30 so far. I'm not including the cookbooks. I'm only talking about the bingo board. So yeah, so with any luck, I will do that. But I just like to say thank you very much for joining me today. I really do appreciate you being here. And as always, keep turning those pages, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.